about you, who takes your investment seriously as if it's their own investment. It does show the surety and how solid UAP Old Mutual is.
I wish I could have soft and glowing skin.
New Geisha Black Soap with activated charcoal to give you soft and glowing skin. New Geisha Black Soap and New Geisha Moringa.
I have to admit, I didn't like Sukuma Wiki when I was growing up, but now I have created a way to make Sukuma Wiki tastier and meatier. I simply add 2 Royco beef cubes and the end result is a rich, meaty flavor. And today, I have brought along my harshest food critics for a taste test. My kids.
More, please!
Royco beef cubes. Add 2 small cubes for a big, meaty taste.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Welcome to Good Life, where we are all about you. We know that health isn't just about getting rid of aches and pains when you are under the weather. It's more than just prescription refills and medication. It's all about going the extra mile for you. Whether it's our expert advice on skincare or nutrition, perhaps a quick lab test, an on-call doctor, or even basic vital checks like BMI, blood pressure, or blood sugar, we got you. You can also order from our website and enjoy delivery services. Walk into any of our 67 branches across Kenya today and start living the good life. Good Life, we are all about you.
Young lady, you're taking too long. 2 more minutes. Nitazima stima.
2 minutes. Sawa, mom.
G-Express Visawa Sour. Enjoy the new Sour Red with the brilliant fragrance of strawberry. Sour leaves you feeling fresh for longer.
G-Express Visawa Sour.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you. It's exactly 2 minutes to the top of the hour. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. A lot we've lined up for you this evening. But first, our top stories. Tonight, senior GSU officer shot and killed by suspected bandits in Kapedo. Tension is rising in the volatile region. Also tonight,
wanarudi kusema sasa mambo ya mwananchi mdogo. Yule mtu wa mkokoteni, yule mama mboga, yule mtu wa wheelbarrow. Wauliza laptop zinaenda wapi?
Undelivered government promises, the new political fodder. DP William Ruto claims it is not the administration's fault.
You cannot come and lecture us about why things have not happened when you are the one who has brought confusion.
Plus, more pain for patients as health workers strike bites.
Hata waende strike miaka mia. Hakuna pesa mimi nitalipa.
County governments and medical staff are not backing down on demands.
Before end of this month, we will be announcing nationally a formula on return to work.
And Bobi Wine's party rejects presidential results.
We demand for the immediate and unconditional release of our leader and the immediate declaration as a duly elected president of the republic, because we know he won.
Opposition leaders' home still under tight security.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
Well, thank you for joining us. On the sign language interpretation is David Agondoa. And tonight we begin in Kapedo, where a senior general service unit commander has been killed by suspected bandits in Amayan area, some kilometers from the volatile town. The vehicle carrying Senior Superintendent Tebakol Emadao alongside other officers was returning from a food distribution exercise in Kapedo when it was ambushed by armed bandits along the Kapedo-Chemolingot road. Tension remains high in the extremely volatile area where bandit attacks have targeted and killed civilians and officers in the past. Locals are calling on security agencies to enhance operations in the area. Meanwhile, the government says industrial action by various cadres of medical workers will be resolved before the end of the month. Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelogui says talks are ongoing to elevate the suffering of patients in public hospitals across the country. But Helen Aura reports that the Council of Governors is standing its ground and striking medical workers are having none of it.
At the Baringo County Referral Hospital, patients watch in agony. This often busy corridors are deserted as medical workers continue to stay away from duty. At the center of the standoff are remuneration and welfare concerns raised by medics in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government says it is in the process of finding a lasting prescription.
Tumezungumza na madaktari, the Medical and Pharmacists Medical Union, KPMDU. Sasa tuko na mazungumzo na clinicians and our nurses, and I hope before end of this month we will be announcing nationally a formula on return to work.
But as talks continue, medical workers are digging in. The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers maintains that its members will not be coerced back to work up until their grievances are addressed.
You are told you should go back to work, though we have not agreed to give you the PPEs, though we have not provided you with a comprehensive cover, and when you die, we have no capacity to compensate you.
The Council of Governors, too, are not climbing down on a return-to-work directive. Governors say demands by healthcare workers are a tall order and that certain allowances cannot be paid without the input of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission.
Hata waende strike miaka mia. Hakuna pesa mimi nitalipa. Kwa sababu hawa nurses wanalipwa hata kuliko engineer.
Kuna yale ambao tunaweza kufanya na ile hatuwezi. Nikisema pia tukiongezea madaktari, tuongezee manurses na clinical na hiyo 17 cadres. Ni lazima pia tuangalie mambo ya madriver.
And that is why we are saying we are not politicians. What we want is a consideration, prioritization on matters of health.
The suffering of patients has caught the attention of leaders.
Jaribuni jameni. if we can get a solution, a win-win solution, so that our people don't continue suffering, especially tukiwa na mambo ya COVID.
Helen Aura, NTV.
Well, staying with healthcare services, the coronavirus infection numbers have dropped to double digits on Sunday, a continuation of a downward trajectory of new infections in the last few weeks. Only 80 more people have tested positive for the virus from 3,733 samples. This raises the national caseload to 99,162. 62 of the new cases being Kenyan, while 18 are foreigners. Some 26 more patients have recovered, 24 from home-based isolation and care, and 2 from medical facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 82,350. 3 more patients have sadly succumbed, raising the toll to 1,731. The National Emergency Response Committee says there are 699 patients admitted in various health facilities. 30 are in intensive care unit, while 1,642 are on home-based isolation and care. And away from the coronavirus pandemic, the political spat between Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga is now going a notch higher to promises yet to be delivered by the Jubilee administration months to the end of its term. Raila is accusing Ruto of selling alternate promises when the government he represents has not delivered what it pledged. And as political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi now tells us, Ruto is blaming Odinga for Jubilee's failures.
With the clock ticking fast towards 2022, political players who have declared interest in the contest are still trading accusations, with Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga leading the pack. The ruling Jubilee Party's record in the last 8 years now turning into political fodder for Odinga and Ruto.
Wao wakati wengine waliahidi wa Kenya mambo mengi zaidi. Mr. 6 months. In 6 months' time, we shall give all the children in schools laptops. In 6 months, we shall be able to create 1 million jobs for our youth. Sasa wanasahau mambo haya. Wanarudi kusema sasa mambo ya mwananchi mdogo, yule mtu wa mkokoteni, yule mama mboga, yule mtu wa wheelbarrow. Wauliza laptops zinaenda wapi?
Msikuje hapa ati mnakuja kukosoa rais, ati mnakuja kumuuliza sijui mambo ya laptop, ati mnakuja kumuuliza sijui mambo ya sera gani. Hapo mahali mmekaa, kaeni polepole.
Ruto says it will be a tall order for Raila to divorce himself from what has befell the Jubilee government, especially after his handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Kama imekuwa ngumu, pia mnaweza kuondoka, lakini muondoke polepole. Hakuna haja ya kutupigia makelele, kwa sababu tunajua njama yenu. Muko na njama ya kuondoka, lakini mnataka kuanzisha vurugu kwanza kabla hamujafunga safari.
Tulikula kiapo. Kwa hivyo Uhuru hatabadilika na Raila hatabadilika.
Ukiona umepata mali safi, watu ukipita na yeye wanakuambia mtawachana tu, ujue umeangukia kitu safi. Leo nataka kurudia hapa, kama chama cha ODM hatuachani na mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta.
Mimi nataka kumwambia Raila Odinga kwa macho. Nataka nimwambie kwa macho. You cannot be in government and opposition at the same time.
Odinga and his allies held a rally in Nairobi, a key battleground in the 2022 contest.
Unajua hapa Nairobi kulikuwa na mchezo ya paka ikitoka panya na tawala. Ruto alikuwa anatanga hapa, lakini baba amefi. Sasa paka ikikuja panya naenda wapi? Panya zinatoroka.
Yule muhuni alikuja hapa juzi, si tumekuja na kifagio. Tutafagia yeye moja kwa moja.
Deputy President William Ruto was in his Rift Valley backyard for the weekend, where Chama cha Mashinani leader Isaac Ruto laid bare his reasons for joining the DP's fold.
The narrative which you are pushing is in agreement with my ideas of uplifting the people. Mimi nafuata sera.
Tunataka kuambia His Excellency ambaye tunampenda, please tafadhali, usikufe na kabila yako, usiombe Mungu ukufe na wafuasi wako, omba nguvu apee sisi macho ndio tuone wapi.
We don't support the deputy president because he's a Kalenjin. We support him because he's a leader who has shown he has the capacity, the ability, the vision and the focus to lead this country out of the problems that this country suffer from today.
Sisi tuliona uzuri wa kijana yenu. Tuliona urafiki wenu kama watu wa Rift Valley. And our time to pay back has come.
Those close to ODM leader Raila Odinga now say in the coming days he'll be moving into his 2017 support bases in an effort to consolidate and energize them ahead of the BBI referendum, and also plans to strategize on his 2022 presidential bid. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV in Soweto, Nairobi County.
Well, thank you, Kennedy. And clearly, in less than 2 years, the Jubilee administration will be accounting for promises it made to Kenyans since 2013. The party's manifesto signified hope and inspiration, coupled with an enticing charm. The dynamic duo President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto. Let's just take a look at some of the promises by the administration. Now, according to the manifesto, the Jubilee government managed and promised to create 1.3 million jobs every year. But at this point, the rate of unemployment today is 3 times higher than in neighboring Uganda and Tanzania. And this is according to a 2019 World Bank report. Well, away from that, they also promised to establish a government-sponsored apprenticeship program of up to 12 months for all university and TVET graduates. Well, that is yet to happen, even though there has been significant investment in TVETs over the years. And away from this, there has also been significant investment in infrastructure across the country, with roads and rail leading to the park. And perhaps the most significant promise yet was the promise to issue all class 1 all class 1 pupils laptops in an effort to boost digital literacy, which to this point still remains a pipe dream more than 7 years later. Away from that, this administration also promised to facilitate mass housing production of at least 500,000 affordable homes in 5 years across the country. And because the matter was facing some legal challenges in court, the project did not take off as planned, and the government has, however, made some progress, but has only scratched the surface on this particular huge task. And on healthcare, well, the Jubilee administration promised to offer medical care in all public hospitals and improve the state of healthcare generally. But that is still wanting, from the scandalous mess equipment purchase to the COVID-19 millionaires to now the striking health workers, which is paralyzing operations in many hospitals in the country. It is a far cry from that promise. And away from this, it also promised to build 4 stadiums in addition to the 5 they promised about 4 years ago in 2013. Well, there have been numerous refurbishments in some stadiums across the country. We accept that, with several constructions still ongoing, but not a single stadium has been launched as part of its promise. And we'll continue taking a look at Jubilee's scorecard as we continue in just less than 2 years to the 2022 general elections. Still in politics, Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata says he is ready to give up the powerful position if the Jubilee Party sees it fit. Kang'ata was responding to reports that he may be whipped this week over a letter he wrote to President Uhuru Kenyatta, claiming that a referendum on proposed constitutional amendments would not sail through in the Mount Kenya region. The Murang'a senator maintains that he stands by the letter.
Mimi hata mkiniondoa kwa kiti nitasema asanti, mimi ni Mkristiano
Ninasema kwa jina la Baba, la Mwana, la Roho Mtakatifu. Na nitasema asanti kwa hiyo muda nimefanya kwa serikali. Niseme ya kwamba mimi Uhuru sitamtukana. Hiyo barua yangu hakuna mahali ilitukana rais hata siku moja. Hakuna mahali niliongea kitu ambaye inasema kitu mbaya. Ile tu mafikira yangu ambayo nilisikia watu wakisema na kiongozi mmoja amesema ni kwamba wananchi wangetaka hao wote wanasiasa wakubwa, iwe ni bwana Moses Wetangula, iwe bwana Raila Odinga, iwe bwana Musalia Mudavadi, iwe ni Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, iwe ni William Samoei Ruto Vice President, waongee lugha moja.
And on those remarks, we take a fast break here on NTV Weekend Edition. Stay with us.
Dawa ni ya Medeviroboto funza na pia kuguni tunauza hapa.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Huyu si Alusa?
Sir.
Hebu ngoja kidogo. Hebu simamisha hapo mbele. Unasema?
I am John from Safaricom. Now, we've noted your line is registered ×2. Sasa, ili tuhakikishe line ni yako, nipe ID number, date of birth na PIN yako.
Okay. So, ID ni 20445. Safaricom? Si waitishi mtu PIN.
Nitafunga hii line yako usiponipa maelezo.
We, John, usinichezee by the way. Tulijichanua kitambo.
Sasa, mimi ni Zuri kutoka Safaricom na niko hapa kukuchanua. Kaa macho. Safaricom upiga kutoka 0722 000 pekee. Ukipigiwa na namba nyingine, usipeane maelezo yako ya kibinafsi. Tuma namba ya mkora kwa 333 ili Safaricom ichukue hatua. Jichanue and take control.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces and wash white clothes, towels and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Kuchukua selfie ni kuchukua control ya future yako. Buy an Quick or Insti HIV test kit from your local pharmacy or through MyDawa. Hurry and get yours today at 150 Kenya shillings for a limited period of time. To talk to someone on how to use the test kits or interpret the test results and what to do next, call 1190. Amua kujua. Chukua selfie.
All these reporters are assuming we know what female genital mutilation is.
It's one of those stories that I've watched before. It leaves me with more questions than answers, you know.
I don't see how this story moves the fight against FGM forward.
There's no new angle. There's no newness.
But that PTC at the border, for me, was the story.
And that PTC, for me, is the problem.
Dennis, what is his name? Beza Uwasi. What is Uwasi?
Don't guess.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now ukwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Well, thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, Uganda's National Unity Platform says it rejects the announced results of the presidential elections while demanding the immediate and unconditional release of party leader Bobi Wine. Wine remains under what the party calls house arrest after a disputed election returned President Yoweri Museveni to office for a sixth term. The former singer-turned-lawmaker says the process was marred by widespread fraud and violence. He has not left his home since he went out to vote in the election on Thursday, and a Twitter update under Wine's account written by an administrator says the couple has even run out of food supplies. The party also says prominent Member of Parliament Francis Zake, who had been arrested during an attempted visit to Wine's house on Friday, has been admitted to hospital, badly beaten and brutalized by security forces. Ugandan officials have said the soldiers and police were there for Wine's own security.
We are here to inform the country that NUP rejects the announced results of the presidential elections. The results announced yesterday by the EC do not in any way relate to the presidential elections in which you participated as a party. We therefore reject them and ask NUP members and all Ugandans to reject them. NUP is in the final stages of analyzing the data and the information related to this election fraud. We have evidence about staffing and other forms of election malpractice. And after putting together, we are going to take all measures, I repeat, all measures that the law permits to challenge this fraud. We demand for the immediate and unconditional release of our leader and the immediate declaration as a duly elected president of the republic, because we know he won.
Well, from Uganda, the U.S. ambassador to Kenya has resigned. Kyle McCarter says he will be ending his tour of duty on January 20th, the same day as U.S.-elect Joe Biden will be sworn in. The resignation comes just 2 years since replacing Robert Godek. In an interview with NTV's Olive Barrows in December, McCarter, who is known for brutal honesty, gave his on Kenya, and here's a rebroadcast of sections of that conversation.
Welcome, and we're joined by the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Kyle McCarter. Thank you so much for opening up your home to us. So this was your first diplomatic posting, if I'm not mistaken, ambassadorial posting. How is it going?
Well, I tell people this is the best job I've ever had in my life, and I've had a lot of great jobs. I mean, I've been in the Illinois Senate. I've been in was an MCA for 8 years, and started my own companies, bought companies, sold companies in the manufacturing business. But this has been the greatest opportunity I ever have to help, to have influence and help a lot of people. And to be in a country that I love, where I have a lot of friends. Victoria and I have so many friends here in Kenya. We've got so many children that we've actually raised and supported, and so my success here, I have a lot riding on this. I want to be successful, not just for a career, but because we really love Kenya and we love the Kenyan people.
When you were coming in, when you got this posting, is it something you lobbied for? Were you surprised?
Well, this is a great story. This is, I actually applied online. There was actually, the transition team had a portal where you could put your resume up. And I was sitting with a friend of mine whose father had been a diplomat, and I took the whole book of all the thousands of jobs that the government had, and I was looking for Africa, I was looking for Kenya, I was looking for development, because that's what I knew, building schools and helping children. And he said, "Let me see your resume." I gave him a resume. He said, "You should ask to be the ambassador." I hadn't even thought about it. And so right then and there, I changed my objective on my resume, and I uploaded it to the portal. And so I may be the only one ever, the only diplomat or ambassador to actually apply it online. But it was more than that. There was a lot of people that I had helped through my career that respected my leadership, and so they endorsed me. And I had even political leaders on the other side of the aisle, some of the top Democrats that would publicly endorse me. And so I'm fortunate to have gone through that. It was a long process, but it was worth it, and here I am today.
What did you hope to accomplish coming in?
I think of this as a friendship. And that's why I do always say USA Marafiki. I think it's important to say this is the American people caring for someone enough to do what's in their best interest. This is not a contract that we're going to issue this much money, if this kind of program. This is people connecting with people. This is the American people saying, "Listen, we've been fortunate, we've been blessed. We're going to take, even in the middle of COVID, spending millions of dollars in the middle of COVID when the United States was hit the worst. They spent the United States citizens spent over $1 billion to help other people when they have been hit the worst." And so, even here in Kenya, the United States has spent a lot of money, but It's because of our friendship.
A lot of people made comparisons where the U.S. election was concerned, saying the Americans are acting more like Africans when Africans conduct their elections, given the fact that it was a contested election. Do you think that comparison was fair?
Well, I think any election, anywhere in the world, if it doesn't follow the law, it should be contested. And so I think that's, I always pivot to the law. Not really, it's not really what I think or what I choose or what I desire, the outcome I desire. I desire for the law to be followed. And that's why we have laws. And I think if you don't use that as a basis to ground your decision making, you run into problems. And so I said this from the beginning, the day after the election, all legal votes should be counted and all illegal votes should not be counted. And really that's just what, we just have to follow we have to follow the laws, we have to follow the Constitution. And probably not get as emotional about it, but just follow the law.
Okay, so you don't think it was fair for those who said the U.S. now has no moral authority to comment on other elections?
Listen, I don't, that is a difficult situation. I admit this is a difficult situation given what's happening in the United States, but I think it's just, I don't get involved in that process here. All right, if we can help support and build organizations that will promote democracy, we'll do that. But really the choice, just like with BBI, the choice is the people's. It's not mine. I'm a visitor here, and I think we have to remember that, yes, we're working here, yes, I care about the Kenyan people, but I'm a visitor. And the Kenyan people have to make that decision themselves, even on BBI. And so, and that's why I've said before, I don't believe BBI should be hijacked by the politicians. If it is indeed a voice of the people, let it be. Because that's what the people decide.
With a change of guard, usually there will be some changes made in the administration. Are you concerned that perhaps you may not serve too much longer in the capacity as U.S. Ambassador to Kenya?
No. You see, I told you the story about how I got here. And how no one expected me to be here, even myself. I never knew that I would be here. So I think, living by faith is a good thing. I have always put my head down and worked whatever job I had and put blinders on to all the other things people said, well, you could be doing this, you could be doing that. No, I'm going to do what I'm here to do. And I'm doing the same thing all the way up until whatever that time is. Whether it's near, whether it's further out, I'm going to keep working day by day to serve my government and the Kenyan people.
Well, the last remarks by Kyle McCarthy there as he leaves office, a conversation with our very own Olive Barrows. And still on the change of guard in the United States, strict security measures are in place near the U.S. Capitol on the route President-elect Joe Biden will take as part of a ceremonial parade on Inauguration Day. Washington, D.C. and state capitals across the country are on alert for possible pro-Trump armed protests. Authorities in Washington say they arrested a man with a loaded handgun and more than 500 rounds of ammunition at a security checkpoint, underscoring the tension in the U.S. Capitol, which is resembling a war zone. Washington remains under high alert after a mob of President Donald Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6th. The assault left 5 people dead, including a police officer. Security officials have warned that armed pro-Trump extremists, possibly carrying explosives, pose a threat to Washington as well as state capitals over the coming week. Thousands of National Guard troops have been deployed in Washington, and streets have been blocked off downtown with concrete barriers. And it is on that note we take yet another break. We'll be back with more.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here, the reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with SafeBuild. Order yours now. SafeBuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
Go Ahead is believing to make each day a brighter day. It is our faith to start all over again. Go Ahead is never giving up in the face of adversity. To go ahead, now that is the Kenyan spirit.
Kuenda mbele ni roho ya Kenya.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Well, thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Radicalization of youth from the coast region to join the Al-Shabaab terror group is a big source of concern. Security agencies say that most of the targeted youth come from Kwale and Malindi. They're transported to Mandera and sneaked into Somalia. Most of them, however, never make it back home because they're either killed or are still engaged in terror-related activities. NTV's Cameron Mutai reports.
Many families here are suffering from the pain of losing their children to terror organizations. Incidents of youth being lured to join Al-Shabaab terror group in Somalia are on the rise.
Alishikwa Mandera. Sasa hawa PPO zao huko wakasema kwamba alikuwa ataka kuvuka. Mimi sijui. Manake kutoka kwangu alisema enda Malindi kwa 1 week atarudi. Nikamkosa baada ya 1 week hajaja, nikapiga simu Malindi kumjulia yule pale ambaye atateremkia. Nikipiga nikaambiwa hajafika, hajawahi kufika hapo. Kumbe alinidanganya na kaenda zake Mandera.
Tumegundua kwamba familia nyingi ambazo zinavunjika zinawapa nafasi hawa wanaitwa recruiters kuingia na kuwachukua watoto. Most of the youth who get radicalized are normally from families where either a parent was a radical or a brother was a radical, so it tends to run in families.
The Islamist group has wreaked havoc in the country, killing and maiming innocent people in the name of extremist ideologies that glorify terror. According to religious leaders, those who join the militant group are misguided about the scripture. They are led to believe that they are fighting a holy Islamic war as a religious duty. Most of those recruited by the terror group also are said to have lost hope due to lack of education or employment opportunities, which leaves them vulnerable to recruiters.
Pale wanapohamasishwa na yule kiongozi wao ya kwamba kupitia kwa hii dini wewe unaweza kupata pepo kwa njia ya haraka. Mojawapo ni nini? Mojawapo wewe ni kuweza kuua kafiri. Ukijiingiza katika jihadi na ukaua makafiri, basi wewe ukifa moja kwa moja unaitwa shahid na unakwenda peponi. Na ukisha kwenda peponi wewe utapatiwa wanawake hurul ain, wale wanawake peponi 40. Kisha wewe utapewa nafasi ya kuwaombea katika familia yako watu 40 ili waweze kusamehewa dhambi.
Security officials say that those who cross over to Somalia are recruited in Kwale and Malindi, areas where radicalization is believed to be increasing rapidly. Some of those involved are well known to the security agencies, but most of them have gone underground with the help of their families.
Huku wanahidiwa kwamba watapata pia pesa mzuri, na kweli baadhi yao wanapata mishahara mizuri tofauti na jeshi la serikali. Wale kule wanapata mshahara mkubwa, wanachoshika ni chao.
Serikali imechukua hatua kali Imewakamata wengine kati ya wao, wengine wamepata kuondolewa kutoka kwa society, na tutazidi kufanya kazi hiyo sana.
Mtoto wangu alipotea Alhamisi saa 6. Alichukuliwa stage pale Ramisi. Na sijui kosa lake ni nini. Na gari lomchukua ni Probox na ilikuwa na watu 4 na wakaja wakamshika wakamtia pingu na kumshtua wale wengine na bunduka, akasema mtu akisema tamalizana naye. Wakamchukua wakamweka kwenye gari na wakampeleka kule alikopeleka. Tangu juzi watafutwa hajapatikana.
Once he has delivered this youth, that is it. He doesn't care. Like you saw that lady, you know, who was delivered to Al-Shabaab. The fellows who delivered the lady just returned and never showed any elements of extremism. For them it was a business. You deliver, you return.
Just days ago, the militants attacked a bus on the Mandera-Nairobi route at around 2 p.m. The incident, which happened at a place called Darkat, involved 6 militants armed with AK-47 rifles and rocket-propelled grenades. They stopped the bus and ordered all passengers to alight. They are said to have interrogated men and women separately, allegedly looking for non-locals, and luckily there were no fatalities reported. The conductor of the bus said they then took 40,000 shillings and disappeared in the thicket. Security officers who responded to the attack also found a destroyed communication mast. Mandera Governor Ali Roba says presence of Al-Shabaab terrorists in the region has caused tension in the area and is chasing away investors and non-locals, especially teachers and healthcare workers. Roba says out of 295 schools, 129 have not reopened because of insecurity.
The absolute truth and the absolute reality that I, as the governor of Mandera County, not any other ordinary person mandated to run the affairs of this county, do categorically and authoritatively state that more than 50% of this county's roads are under the control of Al-Shabaab.
The government admits that a lot still needs to be done to contain the activities of Al-Shabaab in the country. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
All right, thanks, Kevin, for that report. Another short break, and stay with us. We'll bring you much more still ahead.
From Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now. That is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
New Year comes with New Year deals. Renew your corporate subscription and get a bonus. Subscribe to Nation e-paper for 3 months and get 1 week absolutely free. 6 months and get 2 weeks absolutely free. 1 year and get 3 weeks absolutely free. To sign up, visit epaper.nationmedia.com or email subscription@ke.nationmedia.com. Offer valid till 28th February 2021.
Well, thank you for staying with us. Now, drama unfolded this morning at a church in Yala in Siaya County after a group of angry faithful broke into the house of God to fellowship. The Anglican Church of Kenya, St. Paul's Parish, had been locked by the clergy 2 weeks ago following alleged leadership dispute. Okakusa has more.
It is a wrangle that has taken an unholy twist. The faithful breaking the padlocks is called Jauba, most likely his nickname. The vigor and commitment displayed by Jauba in carrying out this mission is sufficient to gauge the temperatures here.
Ni aibu kubwa kama mtumishi wa Mungu anatuma mtu archdeacon mzima na akuje na anachukua leader wetu anaitwa Judith Magudha aenda akanunua vifuli 4.
It has been so frustrating and so embarrassing to close the house of Lord to the congregants.
The worshippers here claim that neither were they made aware nor consulted before the church was locked, yet constitutionally the church belongs to the laity.
By that action, ladies and gentlemen, the diocesan bishop and his team have violated our constitutional rights and freedom of assembly and worship.
The angry worshippers went ahead to declare the position of the vicar vacant, going by the decision taken by the archdeacon to lock the church.
The following persons shall also forthwith cease to hold any office in ACK St. Paul's Parish, Yala. 1. Mrs. Judith Magudha. 2. Mrs. Leah Otuoma. 3. Mr. Emmanuel Owino.
Na wale wanataka kubomoa kanisa letu wahame waende katika makanisa yao.
And so after 2 weeks in the wilderness, the flock finally returned to their master's house to worship amid uncertainty. Ouko Kusa, NTV.
Beyond our borders now, and a powerful earthquake on Indonesia's Sulawesi Island has killed at least 60 people, with thousands left homeless. Rescuers have been in a race to find anyone still alive under mountains of rubble more than 2 days after the disaster. The tremor triggered panic among residents of the island, which was hit by a 2018 quake tsunami disaster that killed thousands. Rescuers have been filling body bags with corpses hauled from beneath crumpled buildings in a city of 110,000 people in the western province. A hospital was flattened and a shopping mall lay in ruins. Others were killed south of the city, and the death toll could still climb. Sad situation there in Indonesia. We do take a break now. When we come back, we'll be bringing you all the sporting action.
Rena vegetable oil stays liquid to the last drop, so it's smooth cooking from start to finish. Now with an easy to pour cap, Mapishi Poa, Madishi Poa.
All these reporters are assuming we know what female genital mutilation is.
It's one of those stories that I've watched before. It leaves me with more questions than answers, you know.
I don't see how this story moves the fight against the regime forward.
There's no new angle, there's no newness.
But that PTC at the border, for me, was the story.
And that PTC, for me, is the problem.
Dennis, what is Nyembeza Uwasi? What is Uwasi?
Don't guess.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now Kwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
All right, some sporting action now, and the local Bet King League FC Leopards beat KCB 2-1 at the Kasarani Stadium, breaking KCB's 6-match unbeaten run this season. Samuel Mwangi boosted KCB's confidence in the 25th minute, but Elvis Rupia came to Ingwe's rescue 4 minutes later. Rupia later netted his second and winning goal for Leopards in the 57th minute. The Leopards star now has a total of 8 goals, 3 goals behind top scorer Eric Kapaito of Kariobangi Sharks. Leopards are now up to 5th 15th place on the table with 12 points, 6 behind KCB, currently at the top with 18 points. Meanwhile, Wazito registered similar results against Bidco United at the Utalii grounds, while Vihiga United lost 1-0 to Posta Rangers. Mathare United is scheduled to play against Zoo FC, while Western Stima will host champions Gor Mahia in Kisumu.
Jinsi anavyokwenda digi kwa maana kupiga kichwa komba.
And former Harambee Stars, Tusker FC, FC Leopards and Tanzania's younger SC striker Boniface Ambani has advised the country's top football league strikers to do extra work to score more goals in a single season. Ambani, who is currently focused on coaching, set a record of 26 goals, while at Tusker, a record that has never been broken since. Currently, Kariobangi Sharks' Eric Kapaito is the top scorer with 11 goals in the BetKing League.
Na msimu huu unaonaje katika ufungaji wa mabao? Manake namuona Eric Kapaito anang'ang'ana aivunje rekodi yako ya mabao 26.
Ya, ni baadhi ya changamoto ambazo niliweza kuambia. Kapaito siongea, ile striker FC Leopards Machapo pia siongea. Niliopea changamoto, nikamwambia jamaa, mnaweza, kwa sababu kwa ukweli ikiwa timu ni 18, mechi ni ngapi hizo? Mechi ni 17. Kwa hivyo ukijiwekea labda mechi kwa mzigo wa kwanza bao 15 pekee yake, mzigo wa kwanza. Ukipiga bao 15, mzigo wa pili upige bao zingine 15, ushavunja rekodi. Kwa hivyo lazima ukijua kama striker lazima ujiwekee nini? Ujiwekee mikakati. Lazima ujiwekee targets, ujue kwamba mimi ni striker, yes. Target ni nini? Target ni ile rekodi iliyokuwa nambani. Naitaka. Na kama unaitafuta, na lazima uitafute katika kipindi cha kwanza. Huwezi sema kwamba unataka kuanza kuitafuta kipindi cha pili, kwa sababu kipindi cha kwanza kidogo watu wanakuwa wamelala, madefender kidogo wanakuwa wamelala, teams zinakuwa zimelala. So kipindi cha pili ni hapo ndio kila mtu anashuka, mzee nataka kushuka. Unapata sasa zile teams nyingi zinaanza kucheza ile defensive sana. Sasa pia madefenders washajua ni striker mgani. Kwa hivyo wanaanza kukazia. Kwa hivyo kipindi cha kwanza ni lazima ujaribu kusukuma sana.
Kwa ni siri ni gani kufunga mabao 26 katika ligi kuu kiwa na Tusker, ukayoyomea Yanga kule da, alafu ukafunga 24 ukiwa ndani ya jezi nambari 24?
Siri ni kwamba unajua si usema kwamba kocha anakupea 30% peke yake. 70% utaitoa wapi? 70% ni wewe mwenyewe, lazima upige shughuli. Nikiangalia siku enzi zangu, kitu nilikuwa nafanya ni kwamba wakati kocha ameshamaliza zoezi, mimi nilikuwa mwenyewe nilikuwa nabaki nyuma. Naambia kocha, tafadhali mtaniacha mpira mimi mwenyewe, na labda nitafute ule goalkeeper kama Voyo mwenye anajua kwamba alikuwa kidogo achezi sana. Huyo kidogo nabaki naye, pia tunafundishana mambo 2-3 hivi. So baada ya hapo najua baada dakika labda baada ya lisali moja nitakuwa nimejifunza mambo 2-3 ambayo kwa kweli baadaye yataweza kunisaidia.
And hosts of the ongoing African Nations Championships Cameroon started their quest of the CHAN title on a high when they beat Zimbabwe 1-0 in the opening match of the Group A fixtures on Saturday. Cameroon's performance was mimicked by Mali, who beat Burkina Faso in the Cameroonian capital Yaoundé, where both the first matches were played. Mali will face the hosts in their next match on 20th of January, with all the Group A matches bar one taking place at the Ahmadou Ahidjo Stadium. In Sunday's fixtures, Libya are currently going head-to-head with Niger, while the DR Congo will take on their sister country Congo-Brazzaville in a late kick-off of the Group B fixtures. FIFA President Gianni Infantino confidently expressed that the competition is a good sign that big sporting events will soon be back in action despite the current state of the pandemic.
But inscrit par Siaka Bakayoko qui répond présent.
Measures that have been taken in terms of distancing, wearing a mask and so on. So I think we have been able to show and demonstrate that it is possible to return slowly to normality, obviously by protecting health, which is the most important value we have.
And in the EPL, Tottenham extended their unbeaten run to 7 matches with a convincing victory over Sheffield United this Sunday afternoon. Harry Kane scored his 19th goal of the season, and Tanguy struck with a sublime finish as Tottenham beat bottom of the table Sheffield United 3-1. Aurier Wrap it up, I understand the match between Liverpool and Manchester United has ended on a draw, but I think Manchester United played quite well as I watched the first part of the match. Thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. Our sign language interpreter this evening was David Agondo. My name is Zainab Ismail. Do have yourself a lovely night and stay with us.
This is NTV.
Acha nikae kwenye mpini, hafi njaa.
Na kila mmoja ana riziki yake.
Mimi vile na hustle hivi, hii ndio jasho langu.
Kila Jumanne katika NTV jioni tutapata makala maalum ya jasho langu, kuangazia raha na karaha, heri na shari za watu katika kazi na vibarua mbalimbali.
Mimi Max Riala na kuunda glass ndilo jasho langu.
Na hii ndio jasho langu.
Naitwa The African Dogman na hii ndio haso yangu.
Nami ni Daniel Mule na hili ndilo jasho langu.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa? Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Following the mortgage regulations of 2020, how easy is it for one to utilize their accrued pension benefits to purchase a house?
As a member, the first thing that I will need to do is confirm that my scheme has actually put this facility in place. Does this have a real chance at transforming the lives of Kenyans? Yes.
What are the grey areas in the new regulations?
That 40% is income tax payable when a member accesses it. Unless you have a mandate to defer that tax, it means that that 40% would be taxed today as you're accessing it, which would mean it's less than 40%.
In the next edition of Business Redefined, we host the head of Umbrella Funds and director of Pensions for Africa at Zamara Group to unpack the mortgage regulations of 2020.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Antenna.
Thank you for making us.
Thank you for making us your favorite drive show crew. National FM, we love you.
Oh, thank you, people. This is the best I'm teaching. I got you good.
You are the one that cheesy.
Tunajibamba.